Okay, so we're going to start with chapter 37 of Tanya, and then we're going to connect it to the Parsha. So, we feel like we're so close to the coming of Mashiach. We know that it's imminent. And this is how the Tanya begins for chapter 37. V'hinei tachlos hashleimus hazeh, shal yimayis HaMashiach u'tchias hamesim. Now, this ultimate perfection of the Messianic era and the time of the resurrection of the dead, shehu gilui arein seif baruch hu ba'olam hazeh agashmi, meaning the revelation of the Ein Sof light in this physical world, Hashem's unlimited light in this physical world, talui b'ma'aseinu v'avodaseinu kol zman meshech hagalus, is dependent on our actions and divine service throughout the period of exile. Okay. What does that mean? If the house is messy, right, everyone should pitch in and clean up. But if one person decides they're going to sit on the couch and read a book, the house could still get clean anyway. But with regards to the coming of Mashiach, every single one of us has a part. Every single one of us has a mission. Every single one of us has our job that we have to do, and no one else could do it for us. Okay. And the question is, okay. Okay, thank you.
I do this all the time. That's how I know.
Okay. Amazing. Oh, thank you. Okay.
You can have a choice to unmute them. You choose.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so when the Rebbe said years ago, when news reporters came and asked him, what should we do to bring Mashiach closer? And the Rebbe said that we should increase in acts of goodness and kindness. And the question is, how are acts of goodness and kindness, like, how does that actually bring Mashiach? And this chapter of Tanya answers that question. So first of all, we know that each and every one of us have to pitch in. It's not something that someone else could do for us. No one else could do your part. We each have to pitch in. And today we're going to learn how it actually happens. Now, these concepts we already know from Chassidus time and again, but this is where it comes from. So we know the concept of elevating the sparks of holiness and everything like that, but this is where it's actually spoken about in Tanya. Up until this point, we spoke about in chapter 7, we spoke about evil around us and evil in the world, but this is where it's happening. Okay. So what happened? So what's going on in this world? In this world, we have a world where Hashem is hidden. Now, just like we have in Parashat Shlach, the Jews are enjoying themselves in the desert. They're, they receive the Torah, they have the clouds of glory, they have food, they have water, and they're living a spiritual life. And then they send spies to Israel, to Eretz Israel, to see how to conquer the land. And the Torah tells us that it was a time when the grapes were ripening. Who cares? I mean, like, we could figure out like what time of year it was. Like, why is it so important to know that? And the reason is because it was a lesson for the Jewish people. A grape, if you hold it to the light, it has a translucent shell, and you could actually see the seed. While other fruits, you have to actually cut it open or peel it in order to find the seed. So the most of the stuff in this world is like a grape, which means you see a tree, whatever you see, godliness, yes, it's hidden. Godliness is not revealed. But if you just contemplate for a few seconds, if you just think about it, you could see, you could figure out how I can use this thing, this object, to serve Hashem. So 90 or 9, at least 90% of stuff on this earth are in a neutral state, and our job is to use it to reveal godliness, to take off the mask and reveal how it could be used for a godly purpose, reveal the spark in it, reveal Hashem in it, and that is our job. So the object that remains a physical object doesn't all of a sudden poof become spiritual and go up to the clouds. It remains a physical entity, but the spiritual identity in it comes forth. For example, you have an esrog. An esrog, it's not evil, it's not holy. But if you take it and you use it for daled minim, then you elevate the spark of holiness in it, and you used it for Hashem. Same with money.
And
The food that we say a bracha, absolutely. And you make a bracha, you elevate it to holiness, you say the bracha, you say Hashem's name, and you show the whole world that Hashem is in charge. So there's so many things. Take money, for example. It's just a tool. Is money evil? Is money good? It depends what you do with it. So our job is to reveal godliness in everything. And we spoke about this. Does Hashem want cows in this world? Does Hashem want cows to be in this world? Well, if he created it, then obviously he wants to be here. However, Hashem didn't create cows that's not the purpose of creation. Hashem created cows because he wants us to use the hide for tefillin, for mezuzah. But is tefillin, mezuzah, is that the goal? The goal is that a yid should put on the tefillin, a yid should kiss the mezuzah, hang up on his door. That's Hashem's ultimate will. And all the physical stuff, our job is to reveal how it could be used to make us, to fulfill Hashem's innermost desire, which is the 613 mitzvahs. That's Hashem's innermost desire. So this world is a product of Hashem's will, yet it conceals his will. And our whole job is to reveal godliness, to reveal his will. Okay. And not only when we use the physical object, when we use the money to and elevate it and use it and reveal godliness in it, not only are we elevating the money, but we're also elevating our animal soul. Because our animal soul, you can't give tzedakah without, you can't give tzedakah unless you're in a body and you have animal soul, which is the motor that makes you move. So now your animal soul is also elevated. And not only that, but the food that you ate to give your animal soul, to give your body energy, is also elevated. So the food that you consume is also elevated. Okay, so this is and everything that we have, everything that we own is all is all meant for, if it's in our possession, our home, our furniture, anything that we own, it's all because this is part of our mission to elevate this thing, to reveal godliness in this thing, to do our part to make this part of the world holy and that you could see Hashem, that Hashem is revealed in our part of the world. Okay, and this has been happening all the way back, all the way since Avram Avinu. Since the time of Avram Avinu, when he goes, last week's parsha, he goes to Mitzrayim, he's already elevating the sparks, he wants all the wealth. Why? So that it could be elevated for godliness, and that's why we have to go out of Mitzrayim with Rochosh Gadol. It's all to get out to reveal godliness in every single physical thing. Okay. So Mashiach is not like a reward that's like a teacher says to the student, if you do your homework, then I'll give you a candy. The candy has no relation. The teacher could say, I'll give you a sticker. The candy, the sticker is not is not a direct result of doing the homework. But what with Mashiach is the sum total of our work. From Avram Avinu's time, in every single generation of every single person, elevating their objects, their things, revealing godliness in those things, that's how we get to Mashiach. That's why we say schar mitzvah mitzvah. The reward of a mitzvah is the mitzvah itself, because it's what you. The reward is that we got one step closer to Mashiach. The reward is that we elevated, that we used this part of the world for Hashem, that we revealed Hashem in this world through this object.
I remember as a kid, the teacher used to say, "Schar mitzvah mitzvah," and I'd be sitting there and thinking, "But I don't have money."
Yeah.
I didn't understand as a child.
Right.
What a mitzvah is. I had no clue.
So all this chapter 37 is culminating, is like summarizing 35, 36, 37. We're finishing this topic of comfort for the Beinoni. The Beinoni is a person who is serving Hashem, and he's doing all the right things, and he's controlling his behaviors, and he's trying to meditate also. And at the end of the day, he has a philosophical question. He says, listen, I'm never going to be a tzaddik anyway. So what's the value to this battle of every single day waking up and having to fight the evil every single day? So we're comforting him, and we're telling him that you're not a second class citizen over here, that the tzaddik is the main thing, and we're just giving you like a job to keep you busy over here. But rather, the theme of these prakim are that even a tzaddik, what are we here? What are we here for? Even a tzaddik is much tighter. That you see, we have a neshama and we have a guf, right? The neshama, even if it comes down into this world, into the holiest body, and is going to be the greatest tzaddik, for the neshama, it's still a descent. You can't compare the light and the basking, appreciating godliness that the neshama feels in heaven to down here. So for the neshama, it's going down. Obviously, it's for an ascent, it's for a purpose. But so why is the neshama coming down here? It's coming down here to fulfill God's most deepest desire, which is to make this world into a dwelling place for him. So if it's about me, then of course don't leave my neshama in heaven. What do I need to come down here for? But if it's about Hashem, it's about making a dwelling place for Hashem, and therefore the neshama makes this trek to come down here because it's all about fulfilling Hashem's most deepest desire, and that could only happen in this world. So a tzaddik, yes, he feels godliness, he appreciates God much more than a Beinoni, much more than me and you. But to feel God, you didn't have to come down here for that. You could do a lot more feeling up in heaven. So even a tzaddik who's busy learning Torah all day, and in order for him to realize his purpose is also through the avenue of doing physical mitzvahs with physical objects. And even
How does that answer your question you asked? Did you ask the question of the struggle, a day-to-day struggle? How does that match up? What you're saying?
Because in everyday struggle, at this moment, am I using this computer? Am I using this computer to reveal godliness in this world, or am I using this computer for entertainment purposes?
What you're really using it for both.
But every time I choose, time I choose to use this computer, to use this device, to use anything for a godly purpose, I am making this world more of a comfortable home for Hashem. And this is what, and when we do this collectively, each of us doing our part, then we get the result. The result automatically is Mashiach.
It's not compared to the tzaddik, but it's just that there's purpose in my struggle, right? It's not that I become better, like,
Okay.
I'm not comparing to the tzaddik, it's like, why does it, but there is purpose in my struggle day to day to bring more godliness.
Yeah, because every time I struggle and I say no to the bad, and I say yes.
It's not compared to the tzaddik, it's just me on my path, there is purpose for it.
So even the tzaddik has to use my path. Even the tzaddik has to do the physical in order to the physical. That is the main way that we're going to accomplish what we have to accomplish. Now,
The vessel is the vessel.
the physical is the vessel to actually get the job. To actually get the job done. Okay, so now you're going to ask me, what about Torah learning? Okay, that's the $1 million question. We say Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, that Torah learning is equal to everything. So what is going on here? We have Torah, we have mitzvahs, we have a tzaddik, we have a benini. What is going on? And it could be a little bit of a mishkababel in our head. And on Shabbos, I was learning. My daughter asked me if I could learn with her. She's having a test. So this on a couple of the Rebbe's teachings. So she's being tested on what she learned earlier this year. And the teaching is about the lulav and the esrog and the dasim and the araves. And the lulav, each of the 4 species, each one represents another type of Jew. The lulav comes from a date tree. There's good taste and there's good smell. Lulav comes from a date tree. A date has a good taste. That represents a Jew who learns Torah. That's his primary focus, is learning Torah. Of course, there's mitzvahs, but his primary thing is Torah. Then you have the esrog. The esrog has a good smell and a good taste. You could make jam out of it. That represents a Jew who does both, Torah and mitzvahs. Then you have the hadasim, has a good smell, represents a Jew whose focus is on doing mitzvahs, and Aravas has neither. We take all 4 and we combine it and we make a bracha, and that's how we're makayim this mitzvah lulav and esrog. But we say Asher Hashem Antilas lulav. We don't say esrog. We don't say all 4. So lulav, and the lulav is the tallest, and it has to be. So what is going on here? Welcome. Welcome. So what is going on here? This you have 2 sides of the coin. You have the learning Torah, which is primary. You have the tzaddik is sitting and learning Torah whole day. Yeah, we're being told that mitzvahs is the most important. What's the bottom line over here? So the story is like this. In order for me personally to be refined, for me to be on the highest level that I could possibly be, yes, Torah is primary. Torah is like food. Torah refines me. Torah makes me a better person. Torah is my oxygen. Torah gives me energy. Torah affects me. Torah changes me. So for me personally, if I sit and learn Torah, then I could become the greatest. It makes me great. It makes me great. But then, but the advantage of mitzvahs is that it changes the world. Doing a mitzvah is a physical thing. it actually reveals godliness. It reveals godliness in the world. It takes off the mask. That's how you fulfill Hashem's deepest desire of having a dwelling place on this earth. That is only through a mitzvah. So yes, learning Torah is going to make you great. But it's not, being here is not just about me being great. It's about how can I fulfill Hashem's deepest desire? And that happens primarily through a mitzvah. Now, and even learning Torah, right? So I'm using my mouth, right? Or davening. So even that, even when we daven, when we learn, first of all, we have to say the words. It's not just enough to think it. To actually verbalize what we're learning, to verbalize the davening is crucial. And we're supposed to put our whole body into it, shake, sing, make it alive. Because the more we do that, the more action, the more action-based it is, the better it is, or the more we're actually elevating the world. So even compared to take Torah learning, compared to giving tzedakah, we say, what do we say about tzedakah? We say, charity brings Mashiach closer, because when I give tzedakah, right, then how did I get the money? I had to go to work. I had to invest so much effort to earn the money, and then I give it to tzedakah. So I'm elevating so many things. I'm elevating so many things. I'm elevating the office. I'm elevating the products that I sold, whatever it is. There's so much that's being elevated when I give tzedakah. So is it about me, or is it about Hashem? Is it because Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, for you, for your sake, for your personal greatness, for your personal refinement? Yes. Yeah, Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, absolutely. And therefore the lulav is the tallest, and the lulav is most prominent, because you are most refined. You are most refined when you learn Torah. You become you're there's this. It's like when you eat food, it becomes part of you. It changes the way you think. It refines you. It makes you a mensch.
But when you're learning Torah, you're learning Hashem's will. If I don't learn Torah, I don't know how to serve it.
Right. So the question is Torah going to stay in the realm of intellect, or are you going to use the Torah to know what to do and to actually get the job done? So they're both important. But we need I'm saying we need both. Absolutely, we need both. But we have to realize what is happening when I learn Torah, what is happening when I do a mitzvah. So even the tzaddik who sits and learns Torah a whole day, yes, he's very connected. Yes, he feels very close to Hashem, and that's wonderful and great. But he can't forget about his part in the play. Every single one of us has to show up. And no one else is going to do your part. There's no one else that's going to do your part, and therefore, if no one could steal your money or take away your position, because it's the money that you earn in there. That's the money that you need to do your mission. You don't need someone else's money. You don't need someone else's spouse. You don't need someone else's car. You don't need someone else's house. You need yours. You need your children and your husband and your house and your car and your everything that you have, because that's where lies your part in this play and that's where you have to show up. So you could be the greatest tzaddik, learning tons of Torah, but if you want to make this world fulfill God's deepest will, which is to have a dwelling place in this world, you have your stuff that you have to unmask, that you have to reveal. You have to reveal godliness. You have to uncover. You have to uncover and show the world that Hashem in this thing by using it for Hashem. And if we think about it, every single thing or at least 90% of the stuff that we have could be used. It's neutral. It could go up, it could go down. It could go up, it could become holy by using it for a godly purpose, and then it could go down to the 3 impure klippos, which are tied down for temporarily. It goes down into the schmutz until you do tshuva, until you elevate it.
It's interesting you're saying that. I'm getting the visual of like the ball, it goes round and round, so that's what's coming to me.
Explain.
A bouncing ball, that's what's coming to me. You bounce it up, bounce it down, bounce it sideways, and that's just what it is. It goes round and round and round. But it's the physical action of it. And sometimes it's the barometer is kind of like bouncing more like you say Gashmias, and sometimes it bounces more like God's will. But the physical action is still there. That's how I see it.
So we have to try as much as possible that the ball should land, that the ball should be on the side of making this world into a dwelling place for Hashem. And sometimes
Can I just add to that, and
Absolutely.
the reason I think that we're a little stuck is because if we go more Gashmias, David's gonna walk away with this from me, that helps us get more stuck. Because we're more there, if we tap in more to the God, then the whole bounces, the physical part is the God. And when you know you're stuck, that's not really your mission, that's not really your purpose, that's not where you need to be.
and sometimes you get stuck.
Right.
Now I'm saying sometimes you get stuck, but even the stuck, a Jew is really never stuck.
When I was told,
There's a story that my told about my grandmother. My grandmother, and then my mother helped her for over 50 years. My grandmother did for 25 years, and then she was feeling that it was too much for her. But the Rebbe charged her with the mission way before retreats were the thing. To every year there was a midwinter convention in another state, and it was open for all Jewish women, and whichever city or state hosted, their community members got very involved, and then other people from other states would come, and they'd have a whole Shabbaton with speakers and delicious food and everything like that. So my grandmother did it for 25 years, and then she said that she wanted to retire. The Rebbe said, no, you can't retire, you could get help. And then my mother joined for another 25 years plus. So one year the convention was in Detroit, and I believe it was Sunday. The women were going to head. They headed to the airport to go back home, and it was a very big storm, and the planes weren't going, and all the husbands that were home watching their kids were desperately waiting for their wives to come home. So they called the Rebbe's the secretary to ask for a bracha because the husbands were really desperate. So they said, we're stuck in the airport.
Right.
So the answer the Rebbe said is, a Jew is never stuck. And instead they gave out tons and tons of, they took the opportunity of being in the airport to give out tons of Shabbos candles to Jewish women. So if you're, wherever you are, there's a reason why you're there. The Jew is never stuck.
Daily juggle when it's the time to do this for
Very good.
What's the priority?
Okay, so even for a tzaddik, if a tzaddik is, or someone is learning Torah, and there's a mitzvah opportunity comes up. So for someone whose occupation is to learn Torah, he is not obligated to stop to do the mitzvah if someone else could do the mitzvah. But if there's no one else to do the mitzvah, then he has to stop.
Even a kind of good old, they're the same. Even a kind of good old. If there's nobody else to bury, kind of good old allowed to bury.
Base mitzvah.
no,
Irregular kind.
my family's Hayanim, they stand.
Yeah, they can. Kohen cannot.
So I guess.
But there is something about that.
I think they're like.
Right.
Nobody's there, only Kohen.
I believe so. I believe so because we're
We don't have
of course we want to daven and we want to learn, but if you we always say our children come first and supper comes first and homework and everything else. So and we shouldn't feel second class. We should rather know that this is how what's our goal? What's our goal? This goal of feeling spiritual. That's not the goal. That's not how we're going to fulfill Hashem's most deepest desire. That we could do after 120 years in heaven. So the advantage of this, the point of this physical world is that you could feel nothing. You could feel nothing, but you did a mitzvah. That's what counts. And that's why we spoke about this last week. That's why if this is the goal, if the goal is a dir b'tachtainim, then you understand why the Rebbe started the mitzayim, the putting on tefillin and the tefillin, the tzitzis. Now it's very accepted, but 50 years ago it wasn't so accepted. Oh, you're going to put on tefillin? He ate kosher, he didn't eat kosher. The soldier, but it's irrelevant. One Jew does one mitzvah. That's the Chabad mission statement for one more Jew to do one more mitzvah. And now I understand why. Because you're taking something physical, and the more physical stuff that's involved, the more of impact. The more you're accomplishing Hashem's deepest desire. Take yourself out of the picture for a second. You want to be holy and great. You want to be refined. You want to be, then yes, Talmud Torah, absolutely.
But so they have them, okay, I saw the problem was that why do we say that that one matters for one part? Say like it was burn all about how I'm here for the film. Why are we not thinking davening about if you were
so davening is a time of connection. That everything is true in its and when you have to have Torah and you have to have davening, you have to feel that connection in order.
Like the rest of the world, I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
The rest of the world emphasis on Torah and not seeing that part. Like why is it missing so much? I mean, that's with a different view of I know that the rest of the world. I think the end of the world, Torah learning is like because that value is much more, not an individual, that's just what is being taught.
It's not, it's because you got both, we need the balance, but at least so you realize.
I'm not arguing, I'm saying the rest of the, look, because they did look, they're all sitting and learning, you have to work on that, it's army, they're not going to army. Because you need Torah, I'm not arguing
Because
that.
so they took the different reason why Hashem created the world. About those
But also fundamental because they believe.
The dir b'tachtainim, that was always said last week.
Any of that is a conversion?
So the
I don't think if we don't we don't know to do Exodus. It's part of the process.
absolutely.
Physically for them, it's a
It doesn't make every other sect in Judaism sit on the Torah to get inspired on above. That's their purpose and role. They know. It's like a big deal that they'll go do that all because.
Why you're saying that, and your resume, if you come from Hasidic world, is the boy sitting and learning?
Yeah, of course, I'm saying, I could also speak to the line about making it relevant for government. There's also an essence that, but the emphasis in our story is that, Chabad, this is the old thing. And Hasidic world is not in the good, but it's part of it also. It's not only about me, my olam. It's not only that. Maybe what's happening is this. But whatever, even the sexual,
Like even the boys go and do.
right,
But it's nothing.
yeah, in the yeshiva.
Like, just ask a question, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So yeah, we said why do you think Hashem created the world? Why did Hashem create the world? That's the basis of it. That's the basis of it.
No, the essence is there. They're going with the shita, and the rest of the world is going with different shita.
So you need to learn Torah to understand everything. I'm saying we're sitting and learning so also you say, oh, women don't have to learn Torah, la la la, whatever. But the women, the Rebbe changed it. The Rebbe changed it. The Rebbe said the women are going to college and getting themselves a secular education. In these times, women have to learn Torah. It's an obligation to learn things that are going to bring women to love and fear Hashem, because they need that in order to raise their children. So if you just tell women, no, don't learn anything, just do,
No,
then how much?
For the purpose of learning, but to learn in order to be living it, to be kind.
Right, but it's not enough just to learn the halachas of kosher, to learn the halachas of Taras Mishpacha, to know what to do. You have to learn. What are we learning now? We could be cleaning, folding laundry, but I'm saying we're sitting and we're learning Hasidus, because this we're learning it not so that we could be great. We're Pasha learning it so that we can understand. It gives us an understanding of why it's so important to spend time with our children and to feed them and to cook supper, and we're understanding why, because that in the food that we're giving our children to eat, how much has been elevated? We have just elevated a portion of this world, which is the actual, according to Chabad approach, which is actually the purpose of creation. The purpose of creation is to take every single thing and to reveal Hashem in it, so that we could come to a place, we could come to a state where the whole world recognizes Hashem. It's 1 + 1 is 2. It's not that Mashiach is a prize. Be in Galus, work hard, and Hashem say, oh, you worked so hard, enough is enough. I'll just give you Mashiach. It's not a prize. Yeah, it's not a prize. It's not a prize. It's not a sticker. It's not a candy. This is where we're headed. This is what.
Maybe your question, or Rabbi needs to answer. It's a good question.
It's on fundamental philosophical question. It actually answers everything when you understand that difference of the philosophical
question. Why did Hashem create the world? Is it so that each individual person should reach their greatest heights? Well, so is it that every person should be the best person that they could be? Or is it that the world should be a home for Hashem? So it's different. It's different approaches. There's different perspectives. And yes, one leads to. Obviously, you can't have one without the other. You need the Torah in order. You need the Torah to give you you need to learn the Torah to give you the chayis to do the mitzvah. That it shouldn't be a robot. You shouldn't be a robot. So we obviously comes hand in hand. How to do it and to want to do it and to desire to do it and to get it. Because you could ask yourself, why should I? Why should I go the extra mile and make a special dessert for Shabbos? Who cares? But now look, you took even the chocolate and you elevated it for Hashem. You took the gashmis and you took an extra piece of the world and you did something with it.
the biggest function of elevating the world. We're doing this all day long. And that's what makes it
So now we could do it happily.
Yes.
Now we could do it happily instead of
the knowledge in order to know and understand.
to know what you're doing, to understand what you're doing, to understand why, to understand the value of it. Because the Benini is coming and he's saying, I don't get the value. Wake up every day, fight with my Yetzer Hara all day. I'm sick of it. Enough. I can't. It's too much. But if you learn, you understand. Every time when you have the device in your hand and you have a choice, either listen to a Torah class or you could go to YouTube to watch to watch something else, to watch the news. When you choose the right thing, you are literally making this world, bringing this world one step closer to Mashiach. You're making this world a home for Hashem. You're revealing godness in this world. So why did God create the world? It's not just I'm in this world for a mission. It's not just about me. It doesn't end. It doesn't end with me and my spirituality and how great I am or how many pages of Gemara I learned. That's not where it ends.
No, Rabbi Manson talks about Yudam and Chava, and he tells the story differently. He says that they saw everything that's going to happen, and they still chose to do what they did because they understood that Hashem really wanted the lowest place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
No.
Chava, when she gave Adam to eat from the tree, she made a decision for all of us. They could have stayed in Gan Eden and
for a mother to make that decision and see what her kids are going to go through, and she still did that. How wow, that takes it. Yes.
She knew what her kids were gonna.
Yes, she knew what we're gonna go through, and she
chose because she knew that Hashem's ultimate desire is not that we should sit in Gan Eden for our whole life. She knew that Hashem's deepest desire is to have a world where that Hashem created, and that Hashem recreates at every moment. And this world where Hashem is so hidden that everyone should recognize a God.
He wanted us to choose to invite him into this world. He could have just come into this world, but he wants us to invite him.
The process of learning.
By making the world holy, we make him comfortable. It's like when you walk into a house and they behave not the way you're comfortable, you don't want to be there. So that's why we have to keep the world holy, so that Hashem is comfortable in this world. That's how we invite him in. Come into my house,
Also, for an infinite God to create a physical world is a process. Hashem didn't go from infinite to physical. It was one world after another world after another world. To make such a world it's one layer of covering, another layer of Hashem hiding himself. So Gan Eden was already a huge descent, and then it was a process to go lower and lower and lower. It didn't happen like this. You can't infinity for infinity to come to finite is that itself is impossible. Okay.
Yes, in the Chumash it says, I'm always like torn between what he taught us and what it says in the Chumash.
That's the shop.
The Chumash calls it a chet, yes. That bothers me.
Probably.
Okay, so just to summarize what we're saying, there's 2 points here, and that is for the comfort for the Beinoni. Number one, we should know that what you're doing to deal with the physical world and the struggle that you have every single day, that is the objective. That is the objective. And even a tzaddik needs to do physical action in order to accomplish the objective.
Because he would rather be just sitting and mourning and fasting. We both have our struggles.
So, but don't think.
Struggle. So when we see the Rebbe being up there, and we see other Rabbanim, and then we see other Likkutei Rabbanim, we don't know what their struggle is. Think of how many Rabbanim didn't have kids. That was their struggle. So how did they couldn't give over what you could give. You're a regular Beinoni and you had kids and what you could educate your kids. And so, each of these Rebbes had hundreds of people and that was like their children, So we don't know what their struggle is. Yes, maybe they're learning, but maybe they would have liked to accomplish Shas more than a certain amount of time. Maybe the Rebbe wanted to accomplish Ramban or whatever it is. We don't know their struggle. We don't know anyone's struggle.
They say I don't remember who it was said about, but there was someone who was not a chassid, and he came to 770 Tishrei to experience Tishrei in 770, and what took him was that after a whole Tishrei of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Simchas Torah, and the Rebbe would speak for hours and hours as Chassidim and dance hours and hours, and after Havdalah and everything was all done, the Kaishal Bracha, the Rebbe comes to his room and he sat down and he opened the Gemara, and that's what took him. That's what that you know that but you have but a person has to realize that yes, I want to learn Torah. There's nothing more that I want to do. It gives me chayis, it gives me energy, it recharges my battery. It's all 100% true.
It's also teaching, again, he prepared it to be able to give it, maybe some of it he learned because he wanted to learn it. Then some of it he was preparing to give over to his chassadim. That's what I would say. We don't
But
know
this was, you know, this was his pashas enjoyment. This is what he wanted to do. He wanted to sit and learn. But first, he had to make sure that every single person who came by got the kaishal bracha and got the attention that they needed, and got, you know, so it's always every single class. There's me, and is it about me or is it about Hashem? About my personal gain, my elam haba, my spirituality, or is the focus, or is the primary, how can I fulfill Hashem's most deepest desire and fulfill the purpose of why this world was created, not just about me, but rather that we tell the Benini that even a tzaddik needs mitzvahs to fulfill the purpose of creation. Okay, so up until here is the Tanya. So now it's up for somehow like the puzzle, you know, there were tons of there's like pieces of the puzzle, but finally we're putting the puzzle together. We're understanding, we're clarifying where Torah stands, where mitzvah stands, what's the difference, what's primary. The learning Torah might be feel very fulfilling, but ultimately at least know what you're doing and why you're doing it. At least when in the thick of the laundry, in the thick of the grocery shopping, in the, you know, to know that you are actually fulfilling Hashem's most deepest desire, even if you would rather be davening and learning. Not that davening and learning is not important. You need it. You need the oxygen, you need the energy, but don't underestimate the action, because that is achieving the goal. Okay, now we are going to learn a little bit about the Parsha and a little bit about, share two stories. We are approaching Chuf Cheshvan, which is the yahrzeit of the birthday, I'm getting confused, of the Rebbe Rashab. The birthday, thank you. The birthday of the Rebbe Rashab. He was the fifth Chabad Rebbe. Story number one. When the previous Lubavitch Rebbe told, when he was 4 or 5 years old, it was the week of Parshas Vayeira, and he came to his grandfather to ask for a bracha for his birthday. And when he came, he started crying. And he said, how come Hashem appeared to Avram Avinu after he had the bris milah, and Hashem doesn't appear to me or to us? He was 4 or 5 years old, and he was crying. He was crying. Why did Hashem appear to Avram Avinu and not to me and not to us? So the Tzemach Tzedek, who was his grandfather, answered him. He didn't just say, oh, you know, we can't compare ourselves to Avram Avinu. He gave him an answer. He said, when a Yid who's a tzaddik, who's 99 years old, realizes that he still needs to make a major step, he still needs to take a major step and have a bris milah, he deserves that Hashem should reveal himself to him. That was the answer. Now, there are lessons, deep lessons for every single one of us. You could say, listen, what does that have to do with me? It's a story about a Rebbe. You know, this teaches us about educating our children. There's tons of lessons that we're gonna take apart this story. Okay. And the reason is because the story was told to us by the Rebbe, and it was printed, and it's obviously a lesson for us, so otherwise it wouldn't just be said. Everything's hashgacha pratis. So first you could say, oh, it must mean some, you know, your age, you know, your passport, your age is could be with your passport, right? But your age is spiritually. A person could be 50 years old, but on a spiritual level, they're at age of 4 or 5 years old in their relationship with Hashem, whatever it is. So we're not just saying, oh, a person who has been spiritually deprived, not because any fault of their own, is on a 4 or 5-year-old level. He has the ability to cry, to desire a revelation of Hashem. No. This is literal. Now, you could say 3 years old. That's we have a rhyme. We have a upsharnish. We cut the child's hair. We give yam kantitis. But the age of chinuch is 6 years old. Just like the age of a bar mitzvah is 13 years old, and it doesn't matter your maturity. That means you could have a child that becomes bar mitzvah and he's very short, he's not so mature, or he's still fighting with his siblings, whatever it is. And then you could have an 11-year-old that's very, very mature. It doesn't go by that. There's a certain age. There's a certain age where Torah defines that a stage. Like it's a different stage. So until 6 years old, as smart and as capable and as brilliant as you are, you could say, oh, the Rebbe, the child of a Rebbe, 4 or 5 years old, they're brilliant. It doesn't do with brilliant. It has to do with Pacha, age of chinuch. So this story happened to the Rebbe Rashab, happened with Rebbe Rashab when he was 4 or 5 years old, which is before the age of chinuch. And so therefore, this applies to our children who are 4 and 5 years old, or kids that are before the age of chinuch. We have to believe in them and know and train them and educate them in a way, practically speaking, that they should desire Hashem. That they should desire Hashem for the sake of Hashem. The Rambam says, how do you educate a child? You give them things that they like. Give them a candy, give them a treat. You give them, if you learn good, you'll get a candy. That's the Rambam's shita. But we have progressed. We're in a different generation. We're in a different time. The Rebbe, a new channel was opened. A new channel was opened. As I'm saying, even if you get onto the news, even though you shouldn't, you could also, once you sunk low, but you could pick it back up. So I was watching this morning a video about the tunnels in Gaza. They have the whole under their hospitals. They have all these tunnels, a whole city of tunnels that the Hamas has created. Now, in the beginning, it was just tunnels made out of wood. Now it's with concrete. All the cement that they should have used to build homes, they used to make these tunnels more and more sophisticated and strong and everything like that. But once a tunnel is built, right, then what happens? Anyone could use it. For the first guy who made the tunnel, it was a very, very hard work. Start digging these tunnels so many feet under the ground. But once the tunnels are dug, you could do who knows what. You could, you could. Besides, for the people can get around, but I'm saying they could transport, missiles and who knows what, hostages. They could do so much once the channels are open. Once the channels are open, they have who knows what they could do. So the same thing is, once Armavin, we say our Avos, they opened channels for us, and once they did it, then it becomes easier for everybody else. So the fact that the Rebbe Rashab at the age of 4 or 5 was able to have a desire for Hashem, that he's crying, why can't Hashem appear to me? It opened a new channel in education. We have to know that it is possible for our 4 and 5-year-old children who are before the age of chinuch, that they could actually desire Hashem because they desire Hashem, not for a candy, like in the time of the Rambam. In the time of the Rambam, you needed a candy. Now we're in a greater place. The problem is that we don't believe that they can, but we have to believe that they could. So there are different times. There are different times in history where different things are available to us. For example, before the giving of the Torah, you couldn't elevate physical things. You like Yaakov, he used sticks and he fulfilled the mitzvah of tefillin, but the sticks didn't actually become holy. There was a difference before Matan Torah and after Matan Torah. There's a difference before the age. The difference before the age of chinuch, after the age of chinuch, and there's a difference between a 4 or 5-year-old years ago and a 4 or 5-year-old after the Rebbe Rashab's time. So even a child who's before the age of chinuch, in today's day and age, if we believe in them and if we speak from the heart, we are able to reveal in them this desire for Hashem, that they should want it, not because of a candy. Just because they want Hashem they want to see Hashem. This is their deepest desire to become one with Hashem. So the problem is that we don't, as parents, we're not speaking from the heart, and we don't believe that it's possible. So an example, you're sitting in the car, you're on a long trip, and the children are fighting whether they're going to listen to music or they're going to listen to a story tape in the car.
They don't fight about the seats, because I'm going from here to the pizza shop.
Okay, so usually the fighting of the seats happens before the car is in motion. But I'm saying, okay, finally everyone's sitting down and they're fighting. So whatever, this happens on a daily basis in our car because we're driving over an hour to school every day. Usually I'm not driving, but last week my husband was in Israel, so I drove. And they're fighting. And I'm thinking to myself, in Israel, there are soldiers who are giving up their life. They're giving up their life for another person. And here these kids, they can't give up. They can't give up 5 minutes. It is. So what? Your younger brother wants a story. You want music. So what? You can't give in. Like So it was bothering me. And I discussed it. I was discussing it with my husband or whatever. And he said, the children in America different than the children in Israel. And just because there's a war in Israel, you can't expect kids to, you think the kids in Israel don't fight. And I'm like, I don't see how kids in Israel could fight when they're surrounded by such terror. But the point is, if you're able to, not in a way of anger, but to be able to speak to your child and say, listen, do you know what's going on in this world? Do you know that there are people that are, it's not a joke, but the people that are going, the 18-year-old boys and who are going into Gaza or October 7th, the civilians, they grab their arm, they grab their guns. They weren't in the arm training right now. They had their training years before. Every person ran in the direction of the fire to save as many people as they could. It's unbelievable. They literally gave their lives. Now, can you give?
Yeah, it's a maturity. I was just thinking, like, when we grew up, and I'm much older than you, and my parents didn't go to the war to that extent, but a lot of people grew up, eat everything on your plate. When my husband was American, he goes, they're starving in Africa. He goes, so if I eat everything on my plate, the people in Africa won't be starving. It's the same thing. They're fighting, so that's why.
But I'm saying,
so we could think a different way, but you have to do it in a very, very gentle way.
right, but it's not the same as the starving people in Africa. It's not the same as starving people in Africa, because if I think it's different. It is the question of can you sacrifice? Can you sacrifice?
Not because what people go through.
I don't know. I'm asking.
Because they can get it.
But you see, because we don't believe, we're so Americanized,
Explain to them. They don't
because we don't believe that they could.
I didn't realize like what's happening there. They don't. They're in their innocent world. They don't understand it. They can't. Not because we think they don't. They can't.
But what if we believe in them? What if we believe in them more and say, you know what? We're still.
It was an inexperience that I remember thinking that if Chas v'Shalom, and now we're in that situation, if people people, like kids were left by themselves during the war. So they took their parents and they came to America as 7-year-olds and 10-year-olds with no one in their whole world. And I would think my brother was scared to take the garbage out in the front. So when he was 8 years old. So that's the difference. Somehow, when it happens to you, like here they were in Israel, they were training the kids that if you hear the siren, no matter
go
where
to
you
bed.
are, this is
Shelter.
what you should do, because this is the life they live. When you, in Russia, I met somebody, he was 8 and 9 years old, who used to deliver chicken to people. Now, this was Russia, he knew, if you see anyone following you, just walk straight home. If you knew anyone was doing that, just don't deliver
I
it.
think there's an age difference here. She's probably speaking about very young kids, but if you have 13 and 11, and they come home with riots in Connecticut, or screaming in Russia, and the kids hear it in yeshiva, in laces, they come home with this talk, yes, you're part of the problem that's going on in Israel.
Right.
Yes, there's hate, and they're ready to take knives and kill us just as
Right.
much. We're no different here than there,
So
but
they
it has
have
to
to
do
start
with, and
protecting
it has to do with an age difference.
Okay, so,
Plug in and
okay.
down like that, you know.
Okay, so you could,
uh,
no, so I hear you. When I was in school, 7th grade, I don't know, they taught us about the Holocaust.
7th grade.
In-
12,
Okay,
okay.
and there were parents that were upset.
Just like this.
There were parents that were upset. And I don't know if it was the teacher, it was the principal that said, if they went through it, you could hear about it. There's different approaches. There's different approaches. I'm saying there's different approaches. You could say so what I'm trying to impart is I hear you all. And it's true that just because someone's suffering somewhere else, if a kid is misbehaving and you say, someone is suffering, so therefore, shape up, or how could you, whatever. But and it might not, I don't have the right words how to impart this to my children. And I need to think about it, but it is how you say it 100%, and which tone of voice you use. But just like the story of the Rebbe Rashab, where a 4 and 5-year-old could cry. Why can't Hashem appear? Why can't Hashem appear himself to that doesn't appear himself to me like the Targum of you? What I'm saying is that because we're in America and we feel we are removed, whether we like it or not, from the situation, we feel our kids, they don't get it, they live a different lifestyle, they this, they that. But what I'm saying is, today,
If you sit around and you say, we're gonna say to home children, my sister said her 7-year-old was having nightmares. I said, what were they about? She goes, I didn't want to ask to enlarge it. I said, yeah, but where is he hearing that he should have nightmares?
Yeah,
That's what-
some mothers that are afraid to share with the kids. The kids get it. I have been in this field for a very long time, and the kids get it. It's the mother that's afraid, and that fear she puts on the child.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In that way, if you sit around and say, just say,
All the
tell them,
parents.
and then if you bring it to
It's
a
depends how
early
you
stage,
perceive
they tell them
yourself.
because they're giving up their life and they're sacrificing. So then the next time, remember we discussed that those people are just like us and they're sacrificing. Now we have to decide gently who wants to listen to this, who's going to give in. It's almost like a preparation.
right? The question is, do we believe that our children can? I told the kids get into the car today, and the 5-year-old hit the 7-year-old. I looked at him. I'm not driving today. The 5-year-old hit the 7-year-old. They're getting into the car. I looked at him, and I'm not driving, so I'm not going to be there to supervise. I said, I believe that you can behave yourself for the duration of this car ride and be nice to your brother. That was my goodbye to him. But if we believe in our children and say, the child who was the child who was in the car with the music versus the music versus the story tape was not 5 years old, was older than that. and was at an age that she could understand. And I did speak from my heart. And I was like, what, how else am I supposed to, as a mother, my job is to be mechanech you. The main important thing is to be a mensch. You're going to school. You're driving an hour each way to school to learn. But if I don't care what you get on your math test. I don't care what you get on your Chumash test. But if a child doesn't have the ability to think about someone else besides just thinking about themselves, then we're off. We're not.
Nothing to do with whatever they're doing in Israel. What would you think before the war? If what happened?
No, but I do believe that time. No, but I believe.
But this is the best approach, because you believe in them no matter what's going on in the world. You're with them. You know what I'm saying?
But
And
this.
I always feel like
But this brought it to light. This brings it to light.
you also have to train the young person, and just because they're younger, the older one is not always going to have to give in. Because it's not fair to her.
Correct.
That's
But-
correct.
So my husband asked me last week or 2 weeks ago if he said, listen, I have an opportunity to go to Israel. What do you think? Now, if I was thinking about myself, I could say, listen, this is crazy. I'm in my 9th month. I gave birth to 2 of my children 5 weeks early. I don't know what's going to be. If I think about myself, I would say no.
Right.
But I didn't think about myself. I know what I thought about? I thought about Israel. I thought about all the women who are in their 9th month in Israel, and their husbands are who knows where.
Correct.
You're a role model for your kids.
No, I'm saying we have to grow up. We have to grow up just because I don't live in Israel. So I think maybe I'm crazy.
No, you're not crazy.
But I'm saying I said my first cousin, my first cousin, her husband he's a soldier, his job was with identifying the bodies and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And he came. And his wife went into labor. She went to the hospital without him, and he got permission to come. And he comes with his uniform, and there's a picture of him with his uniform holding the brand new baby.
Wow.
And as soon as the baby was born, he was gone. He was gone. And their mother, a friend of mine who was my roommate in seminary. She married a soldier. She married a soldier, and she put on the WhatsApp. I don't remember exactly what. So they said, "Oh, give us his name so we could daven for him." And she said, "I'm sorry, I can't even give you his name because he's in such one of these, I can't give you his name for Tehillim." But I'm saying his soldier, that's his whole life to be a soldier. So I'm saying these women, they don't even know where their husbands are.
Right.
And I'm going to say, me in America, I'm going to say, listen, I'm in my 9th month, so my husband can't go. He did such great work there. But sometimes we have to stop thinking about ourselves for half a second.
Right.
And we have, and look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I'm just saying that for me personally, if it works for me. It works for me. I want to sit and watch the news, and I can say no. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm not going to sit in the next hour on the phone. I'm going to go and I'm going to do a mitzvah, whatever it is, because that's how I do my part. I'm in America. I'm not in Israel. I don't have a gun. I don't know how to shoot. But at least I could also sacrifice in my small way. For me, it works. Maybe for some people, everyone's entitled to their opinion and how they do things. But I think that yes, we have to believe in our children. We have to. Yes, the point of the story is that yes, just like we could do so much more than we think we could do. You asked me, how did he manage to when you watch the news, the people that are on the news, those are the people that my husband met. He actually spoke to them. How do you go? It's not just every person has their own tzara, but how do you go to one hospital after another hospital, to one army camp, to one army base after another army base, to a hospital where people are missing limbs, and to speak to the parents of the people that have taken hostage, whatever it is, to every minute of 3 days to be listened to other people's stories. You have to go beyond your capabilities. No, but I'm saying you go beyond. We could all go.
to, my suggestion, would not say, but you have to do this on a gentle way. I remember one day I wanted one of the kids to do something, I go, you get it, it was so opposite of what the Rebbe's did. How many mitzvahs do I need?
Even adults would say that.
It's if you don't fight, you get a mitzvah. If you put a penny in the pocket, you get a mitzvah. That's how many mitzvahs,
But we could laugh about it. We could.
Even adults would say that.
Make us all clear that we have the ability to bring our children
Exactly.
this story versus not this mother's not that, but I'm saying not the child of that child. But that
It's a really good child now, it's a great father, but
you can't ingrain in the child that young the importance and the value of doing and the learning of a child. It's such a young age. That's what-
But I'm saying if you bring the Tanya down to their level, bring the Tanya down to their level and tell them that Hashem's most deepest desire, Hashem's deepest desire is they get it. They get it. The question is,
pizza shop and I gave I used pushkas there, so I gave my niece and nephews, you know, you want to put money in the pushka, and I don't know what their school does, whatever it was. Now every time we go to the pizza shop, can we have money to put money in the pushka? So it's just like this, you know, maybe you, like you said, you can't say when you're angry and you know whatever it is, but you train your kids. Our thing is, and they see that you do mitzvahs. They see that we sacrifice. Every Lubavitcher kids, all Lubavitcher kids sacrifice in a certain way, and they're very and they're very giving, and they whatever did. So this is another part. You know what? Things are happening in the world, and we need to do more mitzvahs to make it better. And this is a perfect way of one could listen to music for an hour, and on the way home you could listen to the stories. It's so many different things.
and also to do it with a smile on your face.
That's it.
You have an opportunity.
Right.
You're the only one. You're the only one in this car. You have an opportunity to make the atmosphere in this car wonderful and great versus a bunch of crying children.
Right.
And the thing is, and also the thing is like this. Oh, so then they tell me, oh, but we had X amount of hours of music versus X amount of story time. I think
Ooh.
you're 100%
so
right. You're 100% right. Really? You should have music now. 100% right. And I'm not even asking you. I'm not even telling you that you have to change it to a story. But my deepest desire is that my child on their own
Right.
should have the chacham bina das
Correct.
to understand that there's a bunch of babies crying in the car, and it's up to you. It's up to you. You have an opportunity to make so many babies. There's 11 children in the car. To make so it could be that you're right. It could be that you're right.
Love what you said now, the desire of the self.
Right.
Desire
Come
of
from
self.
within. Come from within.
I grew up with
It
come from within. You don't even need to teach them.
Why is it always me?
Certain kids
It's
come
not my fault
naturally
there
to
are 10
them.
babies. I
To
don't want 10
compromise.
babies.
Right. You don't need to
You have
teach.
to know what
Yeah, I think you're saying you empower.
For peace, you know, it's like
That's what.
certain people.
Halavai,
Born with that.
that's the goal.
Certain people born
To be
fight.
able to be able to put someone else in front of you. If I did not, what's marriage?
You know?
We don't get
Exactly.
married. We don't
The
get married at 10.
compromise. Compromise.
We get marriage is a maturity
Correct.
where you're able to put someone else in front of you for 5 seconds. I mean,
Correct.
what is marriage?
Was the child.
The child wasn't
Think about
20.
me and my husband flying. He wants.
I
to-
wasn't
he
Bas
wants
Mitzvah
to
either
be
because-
always at the aisle, like I'm not there.
What
I
is it?
want to be on the aisle too, but for peace, I always a compromiser. I say, you want this marriage because I'm compromiser.
So isn't wrong? Isn't wrong to tell your child? So we were for Shabbos. We were the whole family together. So my son is 18, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, if you were in Israel, you would be, you would have a gun right now. And we don't even understand. I mean, maybe you understand it. I don't get it. To take your 18-year-old son, and you don't know if you're going to see him tomorrow.
Yeah.
And guess what? Guess what?
Mas o meu sonho stubborn. They do. כאשר הוא לא רואה את הצד ההוא שאני כל הזמן giving.
נכון. Where our kids are up to, and then imagine we're there, we can use that to verbalize them and give them a motivation and energy to do what's right. They're not, I don't think they're gonna get the association that we feel triggered by. Like meaning that, like you were saying, like the kids don't, like, they don't understand what it means to have war. Like they don't, to them, it's such a foreign concept. We understand it as adults. And I think what it do is it triggers us to empower them with to do what's right and wrong, because that's ultimately what our purpose is.
But what's
the war going on.
But what's mind-boggling to me is that these 18-year-old kids, okay,
Right.
they are going
To
not by force. They want to go.
Correct.
My husband spoke to the Baruch family. Their daughter Adi, 22 years old, she already finished her service, and she wanted
To go.
to do something, and her parents like, no, not a good idea, please. And there was a position that not that she'd have to go actually into the front, but a position in an office building that she'd be able to manage, all the cameras and everything like that. And she was really, really good at it. And they were going to open the center. And this guy said, if Adi comes to man it, then we'll do it. So she was traveling, and another soldier came to pick her up. And there was a Tzava Adom, and they got out of the car and they went to the floor, and the other soldier was on top of her to protect her, and the missile fell and hit her in the head, and she died, and this is who, whatever. So she was 22. She didn't even have to go.
No,
And she's not here. She's not here anymore. But she wanted to. She wanted to and she said to her father, you know what she said to her father?
What?
You know what she said to her father? She said, you raised me for this.
Right.
You raised me for this. For 22 years, you raised me for this. That I should be a chicken farmer? That's what I should be. But the question is, if we can raise our children, we have so much power as parents. Believe in yourself, believe in your kids. Yes, you know what? We have to do more. We can't just sit back and wait for, someone calls me on the phone on Thursday, looking for my husband. I say, oh, he's not here, he's in Israel. Oh, wow, he's in Israel. Oh, did the war start? When are they going to go into when are the soldiers going to go into Gaza? I'm like, am I your source of information? I was like, hello, whatever. I was like, I couldn't believe it. But I'm saying it has to move us. My father, when he would bring with the Bachrim, he would take a cup of water. He would take his pinky, and he would tell the boys, he said, take your pinky and put it into cold water for the Rebbe. We can't just continue our life. We can't. We can't. We have to. The terrorist is not at your door, but it doesn't mean that you could go on with your merry life. I'm sorry.
Right.
Not us and not our children. And we have to change. We have to do something. We can't just, they're doing whatever they can in Israel. Trust me. But you know what? We have to grow up. We have to grow up. We have to not only think about ourselves, we have to become a little bit more mature. So you could argue the 4 and 5, but even a 4 and 5-year-old, even if you're not mature and you are selfish and all you care about is your wardrobe and
to them, what do you say? They don't see the video that we see on the phone.
you have to
They don't get the
you have to talk from your heart.
information.
You have to talk from your heart, and you have to believe in them. You have to believe in them. And you have to talk from your heart without anger, but out of love. You're my child. I love you. I want to impart this to you. I want to impart this to you. Pasha, to speak from your heart. I want you to be a mensch.
And you have to expect immediate results. Let it a little bit cook inside, stew inside, you partner out to give them the whatever you feel, and then the results will come, but not really get this immediate incident right now. That right now I'm going to be able to give
It's
up.
obviously it's a process.
Correct.
It's obviously.
Okay, so when you say that, how to explain it to the.
No, she said she was trying like that. To explain to them.
Definitely. It's a study to start to come overnight.
They don't, yeah, I understand.
Process.
There are
Absolutely.
ways that you can say mommy's very sad now, and mommy's very hurting in ways that they would understand. Because they do pick up on that. in that kind of way, on their level.
No, but that's
Hey,
what
guess
we're
what? Guess what?
supposed to-
Guess what? Don't take it from me.
Change, it's not about change, that desire comes in there where you're just saying your Emmas, and sharing with them how it's affecting mommy and what's going on in the world. And they will probably say, oh, I want to give it to Dr. Pashka. Their innocence is a desire that we need to counterbalance.
We don't
what's going on.
We don't understand how pure and
Yeah.
innocent they are because we get corrupted from outside
Right.
sources. And we
Correct.
don't understand what we're dealing with here, that if you say the word Hashem to them, they understand like this because they haven't been corrupted yet. They accept Hashem so completely. And if you tell them Hashem wants you to do this and this, they accept it without any. We're the ones that we got corrupted, so we think 20 times. You tell them Hashem wants Shabbos, they want Shabbos.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Because I want to say that I got carried away. But don't take it from me. Take it from the response of the Tzemach Tzedek to the Rebbe Rashab. What did he say to him? He didn't say, oh, you're not in love with Avraham Avinu. What are you even asking? He said, when a Yid who's 99 years old realizes that he has to have a circumcision. You know what a circumcision is? What's a circumcision? One second. Forget about painful. 1 second. What is a circumcision? A circumcision is that you remove an outer layer and you reveal something that's hidden. That is what a circumcision is. Our entire life. And then he says to him, he doesn't say, oh, you can't be like Avraham Avinu, you can't have Hashem reveal himself to you. Hashem could reveal himself to you. You know how? If you do a circumcision, if you have self-sacrifice, if you give up of yourself, if you take off an outer layer, instead of being so preoccupied with yourself, if you could remove something, remove the mask, remove your ego, remove yourself, then Hashem will appear to you. He didn't say Hashem, he didn't say, oh, you're not like Avraham Avinu, forget about it. He said, a Jew who's 99 years old, he's a tzaddik. And he realizes that he still has work to do. And he still has to remove, you still have layers, you still have garbage, you still have things to work on to become more pure. Then Hashem will reveal himself to you. So that it's a whole life. It's a whole life of he was 99. He was 99. Our children are 4 and 5, and we're not 99 yet either. But our whole life, we have to ask ourselves, what can I remove? What can I uncover? Where can I reveal Hashem more? That's what a circumcision is. And the more the more layers you uncover, and the more you let go of your ego, then Hashem will appear to you. Then you could have a child who's 4 or 5 years old that could cry, why doesn't Hashem appear to me? And Hashem will appear to him. Hashem will appear to him. It's as long as you're willing to sacrifice, willing to circumcise, willing to take off the shell, to reveal the truth. Reveal the truth. When a child says, I want to hear music, I don't want to hear a story tape. Who's in the driver's seat? It's the Yetzer Hara, it's not the Likkutei. Remove the Yetzer Hara. Only one person could be driving. You have a Yetzer Hara, you have a Likkutei. You have a Nefesh Abamis, you have a Nefesh Elokis. You have a godly soul, you have an animal soul. Who is the king right now? You have a city inside of you. There are 2 kings. The game of chess. There's 2 kings, there's white and black. Who is winning? Who is in charge? There's only one king could be sitting on the throne at a time. Only one soul could be in the driver's seat at a time. Who is in charge? If you cannot give in to your sibling for whatever reason, it's because the animal soul, the ego, the me is in control. Remove it. That's circumcision. You remove it, God will appear to you. So yeah, we could argue, how to say it, what to say, when to say, who to say, how to say, but ultimately, we can do a lot more than we think. Our children can do a lot more than they think. And as long as we have to believe in ourselves and believe in our children, that they are more we are more powerful than that. We can do so much more than we think we can. And our children could do so much more than they can. Whatever, you rely on your husband to help with bedtime, and all of a sudden he's not there. And guess what? You do it. You do it, and you do it with a smile because you know, because you can. Because you can. Believe in yourself, believe in your children, push a little harder, do a little more, sacrifice. You're used to giving $10 for tzedakah, give $20 for tzedakah. But we have to push ourselves. It's not going to happen. Mashiach is not going to come until each and every one of us do our part, and no one else could do our part for us. So we have to wake up. Just because in Israel they're doing their part, if we're not doing our part, we have to step up. We have to. The word is.
My kettle is coming out like a boiling kettle, cooked kettle, And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so I'm going to finish with one more story. Now, this is between us and God, right? To sacrifice. Okay, of course, we're giving the example of, giving in to your sibling, but ultimately, this example of this answer that we have to have a bris milah. Bris milah is between. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's so late. I'm going to finish in 2 seconds. A bris milah is between a person and Hashem, but we also have this between man and man. Here's another story. When the Rebbe Rashab was 4 years old, his mother ordered, they didn't have dress shops. His mother ordered a dress from the tailor. The tailor came and brought the outfit to the Rebbe Rashab's mother. So you have a room, the Rebbe Rashab, his mother, and the tailor. That's it. And the child is 4 years old and was playing around, and he took a piece of material out of the back pocket of the tailor. He was just playing around. Now that piece of material really was part of the material that the dress was made with. So really, he should have returned the extra material when he completed the project, when he gave the dress. And so the tailor was very embarrassed when the 4-year-old child pulled the material out of his pocket, and he apologized that I meant to give it back, a mistake, whatever. And that was it. And then when the tailor left, the mother, Rabbitzin Rivka, she reprimanded her son, and she said, you embarrassed the tailor by taking out the piece of material. And he was 4 years old. And he went to his father, crying to his father, and he said, I need an atonement. What could I do that I embarrassed another Jew?
Wow.
And it wasn't embarrassment in front of a bunch of people. It was just his mother. That was it. What should I do that I embarrassed another Jew? So his father said, what happened? So he said, I don't want to tell. It's enough that I embarrass somebody. Do I also have to say Lashon Hara about them? No, he said, I don't want to tell. So the mother said, why don't you tell? He said, it's enough that I embarrassed. I don't want to also have to say Lashon Hara.
Wow.
At 4 years old.
4 years
old.
So
here we have the sensitivity, not only between a person and Hashem, to have a circumcision, to give up a little bit, of Gashmias, to give up something for Hashem, to give up 5 minutes to say extra Tehillim, but also that we can have the sensitivity. We can have the sensitivity to another Jew, at the age of 4, which is before the age of Chinuch, that another Jew shouldn't be embarrassed. And we could tell our children, we shouldn't be afraid to tell our children, you're 5, you're 6, hitting, chasing, kicking, being mean, saying nasty things. That is not acceptable. End of story. And if we explain it to them in the right way and explain to them that what are we here for? My husband always, whenever we had Hebrew school, he would always say, we tell the kids, we're not here to eat pizza and have ice cream. To impart this to our children. What are we here for? This is not what Hashem gave us hands and feet for. We have to bring Mashiach. We have to, today, these same 2 boys, I already hear this one, right now. So the one who's fighting, I said to him, I hear Sprinza crying. Go see why Sprinza's crying. Instead of instead of telling him stop fighting, but there's a mitzvah opportunity. You know, like, and when they succeed, when they do a mitzvah, they feel good about it. But we have to get moving. I don't have any other way to say it. No, I'm saying we have to change. We have to change. We can't just keep on
Doing the same
and
mess.
waiting. When are the soldiers going to go into the Gaza? It's ridiculous. When are they going to go in and what are they going to accomplish? Forget about it. Forget it. Why are they telling you not to listen to the news? Because when you're listening to the news, you're busy. What is the other guy doing to fulfill his mission on this earth? What about
What are you doing?
What are you? Where are you? Ayaka, where are you? How are you doing your mission? You're in America. There's a reason why you're in America. So in America, figure it out. Do more today than you did yesterday.
Just yesterday, small,
Okay, I'm going to end here.
someone which was not